This is a huge tip. This is how I got my tax delinquent list. I emailed What's up YouTube, Biz Matthew here, and welcome back to my channel. In today's video, we're going to talk about how to pick up probate and tax delinquent leads. I know this has been a very hot topic for you all. I got a lot of questions from you all on how I pick them up at the county's office, and so go inside where there's less wind, less noise, and we'll break it down. I'll tell you what to say when you go to the county clerk's office and what departments to ask for to pick up probates or tax delinquent leads. Before we go on, be sure to like this video, subscribe, turn on post notification bell, and comment down below. All right, you all, so now we're inside, less wind, less outside noise, and class is in session. So I'm actually in the classroom, so hopefully they don't try to kick me out or anything. But yeah, thank you all for the support and the growth of this channel. We're now over 700 subscribers, which is amazing to me, and I thank you all. Now, how to find probate leads. Now, the number one tip, the number one best, most efficient way and effective way to find and get your probate leads is to go physically into the county's clerk's office. Now, a lot of you all want to go, haphazardly with it and just be lazy at it, but that's the best way to find it. When you don't have a lot of money to buy probates online or anything like that, going inside the physical building is the best way. Now, before you go, make sure you research which department you can find your probate leads. Because I remember when I first went, I went to one department, then I went to a second department, then a third department, then a fourth department before I even found probate leads. And even if you think you know where it is or online it says something, you still may have to go to different offices to find your probate leads. So when you go into the building, it's like it's an official building, so there's security and whatnot, and then you go to the department where you think the probates are. So they may be in the county clerk's office, trustee's office. It depends on your county. And then you just ask them, hey, where can I get a list of probates? They may not know what you're talking about, or they just don't want to help you, because a lot of time people are working these jobs. They're sometimes not the warmest people. So you just have to be patient with them. They're going to direct you to somebody else, give you email, tell you to call this. If you have to pay like $1 a sheet or like 10 cents a sheet, I don't think it shouldn't be $1 a sheet. You never know. You could just pay that. And honestly, you may end up going to 3-4 different offices before you find your probate leads. So that's the number one way to me to find probate leads, is to go inside the office, try to connect with somebody, try to be a friend, see who's responding better to you, and hold on to that person, because finding that person in those type of areas is very beneficial for you. So number one way is to go physically inside the trustee's office, the county clerk's office, wherever. And if you have to pay per sheet, that's fine. If not, there's other ways. Now, the number two way is just to go online to different services that offer probate leads. I recently actually got an inheritance list, which is similar to probates, where people inherit properties, and so they're already gone through probates and whatnot, all of that, and so now they own the property. I got this list from Flip This Real Estate list, I believe. You can find it online. I heard it from different podcasts. I checked them out. A little pricey, but they gave me some of my best leads, actually. And so I'm still working through those leads right now. And so that's one option, is to go to that website to find your probate leads. And another tip with going to the county's office, is if you can't physically go there, try to email every department in that building. And another pro tip, this is a huge tip. This is how I got my tax delinquent list. I emailed the IT department, which uploads the list to the website. So that's a huge tip for any of you all trying to find tax delinquents or even probate leads. If they put it somewhere online, most likely the IT department has access to that, because they have access to everything on the county's database usually. Because they upload things, they have to deal with the servers and the database and whatnot. So really email them, because when I went on the county's website for my county, they had the list, but it wasn't in like an Excel format. I couldn't really download it, and I couldn't really find it too. And so when I emailed the ID department, they directed me. Then I was like, hey, is there a different format we could put it in? And they actually created an Excel format because I asked. And like, there's other wholesalers here, and so I'm wondering, what did they do? Like, how did they get tax delinquents when this list is so hard to download? It would take me hours to filter through everything. And so yeah, so that's basically how I first got my tax delinquent links. So how to find probates and tax delinquent lists are very similar. So number one, let's go over it again, is go physically into the county's office. Number two, buy them online. For example, this website, flipthisrealestatelyst.com. I believe that's the website. I put it link down below. And email the departments if you can't physically go into the building. And a pro tip is to email the IT department. And like, listen to different podcasts. This is another tip. Tip number 4, listen to podcasts. I remember I learned on one of the podcasts, I think it was Wholesaling Inc., that they had this service where they were interviewing a company that gives people pre-probate lists. So these are people before they go into probate, which is, it's kind of sensitive because people just either lost someone, just got into a divorce or something. So you had to treat those leads very delicately, right? And so that's another option. Now, working through probate or tax delinquent leads is another separate story. What I can say with tax delinquents, a lot of people have questions about that, like how does the taxes get paid? It basically gets paid by the sales price of the home. So if you get the house under contract for $50,000 and they owe $5,000, when it goes down to closing, the title company or your attorney will pay that $5,000 from the sales price of the house. So the seller ends up getting $45,000. Even though you still put it under contract for $50,000 and you wholesaled it for $60,000, you get your $10,000 no matter what. The county gets their $5,000 and the seller gets their $45,000, if that makes sense for you all. And just finding niche lists and finding niche lists in general can be very difficult, but these are your best converting lists usually. Because there is high motivation and there's huge margins in these deals, right? So make sure you all look for those deals. Don't try to ignore them. Don't try to go around them. You have to find them, and don't be lazy trying to get them. Keep on trucking at it. Save your money if you're working a 9-to-5 to purchase different softwares or different services that give you these lists if you don't want to physically go somewhere and talk to people, deal with the county employees or whatnot, because that can be tricky sometimes. But yeah, once again, like, another tip is when you're at the county's office, try to just be warm. Don't be so excited, right? Because they're chill, but try to make a friend with somebody. Try to make some sort of connection with them. If you see something on their desk, be like, oh, hey, is that with that, or did you visit this country? It's not super extroverted, it's not super it's calm, it's collective, but yet you make a connection with them. I know probates and tax delinquent lists can be a very difficult list to find, but with just the right steps, you all can find them and start marketing, whether it's cold calling, RVMs, direct mail. So just going over the steps again. Number 1, I would say physically go inside the office. Number 2 is to buy these lists online through different websites and services. Number 3 is to email the departments if you can't physically go into them. Number 4 is just to listen to podcasts, listen to big wholesalers, and network with wholesalers around where you live. If they're okay with collaboration, sometimes wholesalers want to hold back a lot of things. So just tying into listening to podcasts is to really network and collaborate with other wholesalers and other flippers and real estate investors around the area to see how you can get these leads that they are getting. Now, I hope you all enjoyed this video. Be sure to subscribe, like, and comment down below. All right, talk to you all later.